Hello one and all. Today I'm going to show you some methods you can use to write a limerick poem. We'll take a look at some limericks first, but make sure you stay till the end as there will be some people, places and things lists you can use to help you write your own limericks, as well as ways you can come up with ideas. Let's get to work. What's a limerick poem? Well, it's a poem, normally that's funny, that follows a particular pattern. There are 5 lines of which the first, second and fifth lines' last words rhyme, as do the last words of lines 3 and 4. Let's have a look at an example. My friend Silly Sausage has offered to perform a limerick for us. I just hope he can manage to say it without being too silly. Here he is now.
Today I am going to read a limerick poem called One Lump or Two. In a wood near a field on a tree sits a squirrel who's drinking some tea. He likes it quite sweet and at just the right heat. He drinks 1 cup, then 2 cups, then 3. I thank you very much.
Did you notice the rhymes at the end of each line? Do you remember that the last word of lines 1, 2 and 5 rhyme in a limerick, as well as the last words in lines 3 and 4? Let's have a look. The last words in lines 1, 2 and 5 were tree, tea and 3, whilst the last words on lines 3 and 4 were sweet and heat. They rhyme, don't they? Let's listen to Silly Sausage read another limerick.
My next offering is called Stop for Lunch. I once met a snail called Keith, who was munching away on a leaf. But our meeting was fleeting, he had to stop eating to replace all his broken false teeth. I thank you very much.
Did you notice how the starting lines of each limerick are different? In the first line of One Lump or Two, we were told where the limerick was taking place, in a wood near a field on a tree. Whereas in Stop for Lunch, we were introduced to Keith in the first line, and that he is a snail. Let's listen to Silly Sausage again as he reads out another couple of limericks. I want you to pay specific attention to the first lines to see how the limerick is set up. After that, we'll take one of the limericks and look at how it's put together.
This limerick is called Cheaper Sheeper. After that, I shall perform Little Donald. In a castle on top of a hill lives a giant and his name is Bill. He owns an old sheep that he bought on the cheap from a bloke that he met in Brazil. Little Donald, he was a Boy Scout who had a peculiar snout. It twitched and it rose and it flared did his nose, so much that his brains they fell out. Thank you. Thank you very much.
OK, we're going to take a closer look at Little Donald. First, we'll look at how the limerick is constructed, then we'll delve into how the idea for the limerick came about. Let's listen to the limerick again. Little Donald, he was a Boy Scout, who had a peculiar snout. It twitched and it rose, and it flared did his nose, so much that his brains they fell out. If you count them, you can see that lines 1, 2 and 5 have between 7 and 10 syllables. Lines 3 and 4 have between 5 and 7. The first thing that came to mind when writing this limerick was the character of Little Donald. OK, so what does Little Donald do? Is there something we can use to tell us more about him? I think he's going to be a Boy Scout. Right, that's going to be our first line. What do we have to think about when we're writing line 2? That's right. The line should be between 7 and 10 syllables and the last word needs to rhyme with scout. What could we do to find some words that rhyme with scout? We could think about words we already know, like doubt or trout. If you can't think of any, use a rhyming dictionary. This will help you find words that rhyme and may even help with ideas for another line. We found lots of words that rhyme with scout. Doubt, trout, drought, snout, out and shout. I like the idea that he has a funny nose. Looking at the words we found to rhyme with scout, we can see the word snout which is another word for nose. Our next decision is to see what we can do with lines 3 and 4. These lines help us expand upon the story we have set up in the first 2 lines. We've already decided that Donald has a funny snout. Another word for snout is nose, so we could use that as a word at the end of one of the lines. What could be happening to his nose? Remember, we need to find a word that rhymes with nose. Let's have a look at some of our possibilities. We could use snows, rose, glows, clothes, pose and toes. As we've decided that we're going to use nose, I think we need to use a word that shows what his nose is doing. I think his nose twitches and moves in a funny way. That leaves us with the 5th line. We need to find a word that rhymes with scout and snout. We've already found some rhyming words, so we just need an idea that fits in with the story we've created so far. At the moment, we know the limerick is about Donald, who is a scout with a funny nose that twitches. What could happen to Donald? I think that his nose moves so much that his brain will fall out. Out rhymes with scout and snout. And there we are. We've created a limerick. Our limerick has told us a story and given us a funny ending. Did you notice how many questions we asked? This is key to writing a limerick. When we have an initial idea, we need to expand upon it. When we ask a question, we stimulate our creativity and come up with possibilities for our poem. Who is the poem about? Where are they? What are they doing? When are they doing it? What is going to happen to them? Why don't you have a go? I'm going to give you some options and you see what you come up with. Here are some questions you can ask yourself to help you with your initial ideas. You'll soon be making up your own questions as you write more limericks. Some of the questions will fit with the limerick you're writing, some will not. Don't worry about this, just ask another question. Who's the limerick about? What are they doing? Where are they? Why are they there? When are they there? How do they get there? How are you going to start your limerick? Now for a list of options for your limerick. I'll put a word and some rhymes. Add your ideas to the lists if you like. Now you have some rhyming words, have a go at putting them into a limerick. Goodbye! Take a look at the main channel where you'll find lots of other videos to enjoy. Please like and subscribe.